regardless of what soul connection that you're on, what soul journey that you're on, is all to lead you to your divine purpose, okay? Called or pulled, almost like a magnet, towards another collective, another group of people that resonated where my soul was going. Hey there, divine ones. Minister Ashley here for FD 1111 Ministries. This is a members pick. So if you guys don't know, I've been writing a book, another book, and this one is about women and goddesses of the Bible. Pre-order that. They'll be in my link in the description box, depending on where you're watching this video and when you're watching it. So going to get into this. A member picked this video, this topic of the video. I'm trying to see where to put my incense. I've moved my incense holder. Okay, well, I guess I'll put it right here. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Hey, you guys. Hey. Pull up my notes. Okay, this is an interesting topic. Once again, picked by one of the members. Sorry, move this over here. Picked by one of the members. So if you want to join, hey, if you want to join the member section, whether you're on YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok, you can do so for as little as $2.99 a month. And I will have the PDF for those that are members. I will have, hey, try to do the heart with one hand. But for those that are members, by midnight tonight, I will have the PDF for this discussion. And there you will have notes and, you know, things that you can go research, okay? So I will have that listed by midnight tonight. And yeah, I will let you know via Discord or either inbox you according to the platform that you're on. YouTube, I can't really inbox you because I don't have your email. Okay, let me go ahead and pull up my notes. So what is a soul? Before we go into soul family and we dive deeper into soul connections, so this is going to be a two-part, as far as I know, a two-part, could be three-part series. So let me first also prime this topic by maybe discussing how I started this ministry. So I started this ministry initially because of a soul connection. And the soul connection was categorized as a twin flame connection. So that's how I started the ministry. And it's been like, oh my gosh, like maybe 6+ years I've been thugging it out. But anyways, my content sort of have shifted. You know, the soul connection was an impetus for something greater, such as like I have so many tools for the collective, from oracle decks to journals to books, which you can find some of that on TikTok, others on Etsy, you know, the whole gamut. You can just check out the links in the bio. But anyways, so I say that to say that regardless of what soul connection that you're on, what soul journey that you're on, is all to lead you to your divine purpose, okay? Of the twin flame connect, right? I know, exactly. So it's to lead you to a greater purpose. Okay, so like if you're on a path and you stray off of that path, the soul connection and part of your soul family will bring you back on that path of your divine destiny, you know, which we're supposed to be doing. So a soul family is not, it does not have to be a blood relation. It can be anybody. It could be someone across the world that you may have some type of a connection with, and you may just talk via internet. But I'm gonna get to the soul connections first. So before we dive into the soul connection, let's, you know, go over what a soul is. I'm glad you asked, because I have notes. So a soul connection, in this discussion, I'm going to cover the topic of what a soul is, what's a soul family, and I'm going to briefly touch on what a soulmate is. So you have different categories of soulmate. So this will be, like how I said, either a 2 to 3 part series. So first, I'm going to give a little philosophy behind the concept of a soul. And the Western, so I don't have another computer stand. That's the reason why I'm holding my computer like that, because I have my other computer on here. Okay, so in the Western world, our concept of a soul comes from the Greek philosophy, known as the psyche. It is an immaterial essence of ourselves. So it's something that we cannot necessarily hold or grasp. Think about a soul as a I'm not even going to say like a gas, but like a substance that's inside of a physical container. We are animated by our psyche. Okay. Okay, the word insult. No, let me back up because I missed one thing. Okay, the immaterial essence of ourselves and the force behind everything. So some cultures believe that every single thing has a form of a psyche, whether it be an animal, to a person, of course, to an insect. And I have evolved to believe that. When you grow up, you know, you go outside, you see ants, you see bugs, and as a young child, you squish them. And even as an adult, you're like, it's a spider. Let me crush it. But last year, I had like a epiphany. I had another spiritual awakening, in essence. And for those that know, I actually posted a video about insects and how they can be God's messengers. So if we have the understanding that everything has a level of consciousness, of a level of a psyche, then we can see not only ourselves in the reflection of whatever it may be, a bug, an animal, whatever, you know, spirit animals. I talk about that too. And we can have a sense of compassion for every living creature. All right, continuing on with my notes. The meaning of the soul gave the body meaning. The Latin word anima means breath. The Greek word psyche means blow. So these two concepts are strongly linked. So I'm going to repeat that. Anima means breath. What we breathe is part of the psyche. And the Greek word psyche means to blow. So those are two strongly connected, also associated with wind. So this is interesting because it leads us to the Bible. In the Bible, the Hebrew word nephesh is associated with the concept of a soul, referring to the whole person, the physical and non-physical aspects mentioned in Genesis 2:7. God breathing life into the dust and the man became a living soul, or the being became a living soul, depending on, you know, what your belief is. So through the breath, through the breath, the air, that we have life, and that's the same thing as a psyche. So furthering with the concept of a psyche. So psyche also consists of reason and logic, character, feelings, consciousness, memory, and perception. We could dive so deep into this concept because, especially, you know, me, I deal with the Bible and the more esoteric, mystic aspects of the Bible. When we think about like the soul being damned or the soul going to heaven, that this is like the aspect of, like, you can't really destroy a soul. Like, I think that's and now once again, this is just off the top of my head, I think that may be a mistranslation, because I don't think that if it's a part of God, how can the soul ever be destroyed? It will just go back to its source. Or if we further continue in this presentation, we realize that it could also be reincarnated. All right. So Plato believed that the soul existed even after death and was able to think, and our soul is reborn in new bodies. Very similar to like reincarnation, or like even with reincarnation, there's different brackets within reincarnation. So some people may believe that the reincarnated soul comes in a human body. Others may think that, or believe that a soul or the psyche can be reincarnated into, like, say, a tree, because a tree is still living, or a blade of grass, or an insect, or an animal. This is called, okay, here we go with this word. It's a Greek word, so give me a second. All right, metempsychosis, meaning the transformation of souls, similar to reincarnation. So there's a three-part soul with this concept: logos, meaning the mind, located in the head, and it governs reason and logic. So this is the concept of what a soul consists of, in according to the Greek philosophy. Thymos, the masculine aspect governing willpower and emotion, located in the chest. And Eros, the feminine aspect governing love and desire, located in the stomach. Now you would think that love would be in the chest, but in the stomach. So it reminds me of what they say. A way to a man's heart is to his through his stomach. Maybe that has some meaning to it. Or either you have like this feeling in your stomach, and like they say, go with your gut feeling. Aristotle believed that only the Logos was reincarnated with the belief of different types of souls. These brackets of souls include plants, animals, and humans. So you, like how I was saying before, one in this philosophy, one could be reincarnated. They could have started off as a human, and it could be reincarnated as, say, a plant, a blade of grass, like I was saying, or an animal. Now moving on to the Egyptian belief. So there's 9 parts to a soul, according to the Egyptian belief. Now, I hope I do not butcher any of these categories of the soul, or the names of the soul, or the names of the parts of the soul. Okay. Ket, the physical body that allows the soul to reincarnate. Sa, the spiritual body allowing the astral realms, or accessing the astral realms, almost like an astral body. Ib, the heart, the seat of emotion, thoughts, and willpower, also intentions. And this is also similar to in the Bible in Proverbs 4:23, like the seat of the soul. So the soul and the heart are interconnected, because the heart, it bears the weight of the emotions. Ka, similar to the Greek psyche, like the vital essence of breath, believed to be breathed into one at birth and left upon death. So I see this concept, especially because I'm a horror fan, like I like horror movies. Like you may see this concept where like once a person has departed, or they're like about to transition, that the breath leaves the body. You can like see them taking their last breath. Or if you ever, worked in a hospice or been next to someone that has transitioned, or even if you have like had an animal that transition, like their last breath, and then it's like in essence the soul has left the body. And I'm looking forward to this discussion as we continue on with this, not just right now, but we could dive into so many different concepts with the idea of the soul and afterlife and reincarnation. This opens up a whole can of worms. I skipped over a whole section. Hold on, let me get back up. Okay, I'm on Ba, close to the ego. Uniqueness and individualism. In death, some objects had Ba with a living memory of the departed. For example, like the tomb or gravestone. So like it's also connected to like the name. And as we get further down, it's like another word that they have associated with the name. So these objects that may have a essence of the soul entrapped in it, or like maybe imprinted on it. Let me see if there's any questions. Oh, I'm reading from my notes. I have like a PDF that I'm going to post for the members, and that's what I'm reading from. I'm going to add more to the notes for the members, so you can join here for like $2.99 or wherever you may be watching. I also go live every Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Are you single? I'm trying to mingle. No, I don't. Maybe we're part of the same EM. Maybe we're part of the same family, soul family, which we'll get into a little later. But I I'm not going to answer that question, but the mingling part, we are mingling now, you know, in essence. I'm reading this off and you're able to leave comments. Yeah, the 20. Okay. All right. Just checking the comments. I left off with ka. No, I left off with ba. Okay. Sha'at, the shadow self. Now, this is different. I think this concept is like a little different than what we have been taught about the shadow self. And I think that's like deserving of maybe a discussion to dive deeper into, but probably not right now, because I think it would take us too far off course. Not negative or bad, but an aspect of oneself. An example is an image of oneself, like, for example, the photo or a statue. I know in some cultures, they would think that if someone took a photo of them, it's like stealing a part of their soul. And that really does make sense, too, because as I think about it, like sometimes when I have like pictures of my ancestors that have already passed on, or loved ones, that when you look deeper into their eyes, it's almost like you can feel their presence, if you will. I mean, at least I can only speak for myself. Or like even sometimes when people may see a picture, like now we have paparazzi, we have iPhones, we always taking photos of everybody and everything, and it's always posted online. And sometimes when you look deep into a person's eyes, it's almost like you can sense a feeling or what they could have been thinking at the time. So I think that has some truth to it. 𝐬𝐤𝐻𝐿, I don't know if I'm saying that right, or 𝐘𝐤𝐻𝐿, okay, power or source. Green, name. The idea is you will remain alive when your name is spoken. And you will be remembered when your name is spoken. Soul name was where the memories of the life and experience were stored. For example, hieroglyphics. So, you know, like the tombs where they have like all the names written all over the walls. They did that because it was in essence keeping the person alive. I know in some traditions, like I know like maybe, I want to say like African American traditions. I know that my grandmother, she would keep documents and write down the names of everyone in the Bible. And when we spoke their name, one of my aunts, my great aunts told me, she said that when we speak our ancestor, well, she didn't say ancestor, but in essence, an ancestor, you speak their name, it's like you're remembering them and they never die. I've also heard that in African traditions, like in some of them, when you speak your ancestor's name, in essence, they never die. So they would want to hand down the name. So either name their offspring one of their ancestors' names and then keep that name going. You can even see this, you know, like John Sr., John Jr., John, I don't know what comes after Jr., but, you know, they continue the name so that way the ancestor lives on. All right, this other one I don't know how to say. I think it's 𝐸𝐾. Mystical aspects of the soul. Part of the person that became pure light, a pure light body or pure light being, associated with the part of the soul for thinking. It is also thought and feelings as an entity. So it's almost like it creates its own entity through thought and feeling, or either like the soul after it leaves the body, that's the aspect of that portion of the soul. Only forming when in ka, psyche, and ba, ego, come together in union. Now, I'm not real familiar with a lot of the ancient Egyptian customs. That will have to be maybe another study, but for those that are members, I will try to elaborate on that because I have to do some more studying about that, and I will definitely have it, once again, up by midnight tonight. Now let's move on to what a soul family is. I remember when I was going through my spiritual awakening, you know, the number of spiritual awakenings I've been through, when I was exiting the traditional church, I remember that I could feel like a sense of separation, almost like on a spiritual level. excuse me, because I had formed this community on a spiritual level in the church. And it felt like a part of me was separating, like on a soul level, from that community. And I had to go through a phase of isolation. And then I started to find myself being called or pulled, almost like a magnet, towards another collective, another group of people that resonated where my soul was going. And I'm sharing this personal experience because I feel like this really probably could maybe help someone, or either elaborate on what a soul family could be. Now, a soul family doesn't necessarily mean that you have to stay in physical contact with them your entire life. Sometimes you may stumble upon a soul family member and you're only meant to physically interact with them for a specific moment in your life, and a specific moment for their life, and then you guys separate physically. So it has many purposes. Some people, I know when I first started learning about this, I was thinking that soul family meant like people that are part of my blood family, and we share somehow like a soul, if you will. Or either they're people that I will spend my lifetime with, such as a partner, like a love partner, or even a child. But it can be people, once again, that you may meet for a season and a reason, and you guys may physically separate. You may come back together, or you may just separate for that entire life incarnation. And reincarnation is, once again, like one of those topics that you can dive really deep into. I'm not sure if I fully believe in reincarnation. I'm still like on the fence about it, because I just sit and think about it. I think about stuff like that, and I like to do a lot of research. So I've heard a lot of good arguments about reincarnation on both sides. So I'm going to go into the Greek philosophy, of the concept of soul family. It is not explicitly defined in some modern spiritual concepts. Plato, for example, discusses, I'm reading from my notes for those that just joined, and that PDF will be, once again, in the member section after this video, like by midnight. Discusses the soul in terms of immortality and the journey towards wisdom and truth. And they can share similar virtues and philosophical inclinations, and may be drawn together, forming close relationships akin to family, but family of souls. The idea suggests that souls might share a common purpose or destiny, influencing their interactions and bonds in this lifetime. And there's also soul family members that, if you believe in reincarnation, they may reincarnate at the same time continuously. For example, it may be like mother-child, father-child, or next incarnation may be brother-sister. Next incarnation, it may be lovers. Next incarnation, they may be sworn enemies. But it's all from this philosophy to mature the soul. So like, think about a baby soul, if you will, that when they first are incarnated into this physical world, they may be very delicate, and they can't handle a whole lot of human pressure, like almost like how a diamond in the rough, or a diamond that is formed, or the piece of dust or dirt that is formed into a diamond, but it may take many lifetimes before they are formed into a diamond. So for example, like the first lifetime they may incarnate as like a really loving, caring, nurturing mother and father, like a real sort of kind of like easy life. And then the next time when they incarnate, it may be a little rougher. I feel like maybe if I do completely believe in reincarnation, I feel like I've been here a couple times, like I think about stuff like this a lot. But let me see if there's anybody else that have like any other thoughts about maybe reincarnation, soul family. Now let me continue, because I didn't finish reading this section right here. philosophers emphasize Aristotle importance of the connection. All right, so New Age philosophy. Okay, members of a soul family are thought to resonate with one another on a spiritual, emotional, and energetic level, supporting each other's growth and evolution. So some New Age beliefs, once again, believe in reincarnation, a shared purpose. Continue down. So they may come together for a shared purpose, like they may come here for whatever their assignment is. So the purpose is to fulfill that assignment, almost like a drill sergeant that gives a soldier a command. These two soldiers are sent out there to do whatever they're supposed to do. And thank you so much. They're supposed to do whatever the task is that the sergeant or the authority gave to them, and they cannot come back empty-handed. So yeah, they may die along the way, you get the analogy, but they can't come back to headquarters, which would in this analogy be like maybe heaven, or I don't know, whatever the resting place is after the soul has finished what they're supposed to do in this lifetime. Another school of belief is also about galaxies, like people that are part of a soul family may have came from one star system, star Sirius or star whatever Andromeda, I don't know. But they may have came from a different star system, and they came from light years away, the souls, and they incarnated in the body at either the same exact time or within one's lifetime. So it could be an elderly lady with a newborn baby. In some way, somehow, they come in physical contact with one another, and they may have years of life together, or they may have just like a split second, and it can change the dynamic of their life that will snowball out to others. Okay, yes, stars, I already went over the star system. Energetic resonance. Energetic resonance. It is believed that soul family members often feel an intimate connection, a bond, and recognition when they first meet. Their frequencies and energies align. Now, I don't know how many people have felt that. I've felt that several times. Even people I haven't seen again, like they could have been strangers. Maybe they'll come back around. I got plenty of years to live on this earth, is Ashley. So maybe they'll come back around, but it could have just been for that split second. Who's to say? All right, in the Bible. So the concept of soul family can be seen in the deep spiritual connections and bonds among individuals. For example, David and Jonathan. I have a whole nother idea about David and Jonathan, which I'm not going to get into in this discussion. But for this right here, soul family. So if you don't know, King David, they're referring to King David. And one of these notes referring to King David. So a king could have anything that he wanted. Jonathan, he was a crippled. It was, I forgot whose son it was, but it was a close friend of King David. And so when the soldiers were seeking to unalive Jonathan because he was the offspring of someone, I forgot exactly who, so don't quote me on that part. But long story short, what happened is that he saved him, and he took him under his wing, and he raised him, continued to raise him. Now, when they say a young man in the Bible, he could have been like 30 years old. Who knows how old he was? I don't know. But anyways, you get what I'm saying. So he had that strong bond. He formed a strong bond with him. And even in the text, they already had somewhat of a bond. Anyway, that relationship is funny, but that's just an example. And I'll talk about that I don't know if I'm going to do a discussion about it, but I know I will possibly mention their relationship in my upcoming book, The Sacred Grail, Women and Goddesses of the Bible. And so I will probably use them as an example for something else, or either they may come up in another discussion. But anyways, Ruth and Naomi. So I did do a discussion about Ruth and Naomi and Boaz. If you have not seen that, you will find it on my YouTube channel. I have a couple clips on here on Instagram and TikTok. But that conversation is quite juicy. And I go into some of the glamour magic, some of the smex magic. So you can go check that out. But anyways, so Ruth and Naomi, and with usually what I see, like either with twin flame connections or like deep soul connections, that it could be people that are so polar opposite. So Naomi was like the mother of Ruth's husband that passed on. But see, Ruth was a Moabite. That means that she worshiped a false god at first, and she was from a far off land. But somehow they ended up together. And so she went with her. She left all of what she knew before, and she went and she followed Naomi. And that's like a soul connection. Because you think about, let's give an example. I'm here in Virginia, and let's say that some way, somehow I end up in California. And I meet somebody, and I'm like, okay, we become somewhat acquainted. And I tell them, you know what, how about you just come over here to Virginia, and you just come stay with us and become part of our family, pick up on our habits, our culture, our religion. That's like another level of soul connection, soul family, because they weren't blood relatives. They had two different belief systems. I don't like that one. Paul and Timothy. Now, once again, I think it's a little something else to this connection. But for the sake of this discussion, I'm going to keep it real simple. Paul and Timothy. So Timothy was like his protege. He took the young boy. So once again, he could have been like about up to like 30 years old, because that was considered to still be someone young in those days. Took him under his wing, and he made him almost like a disciple. I think he was possibly a deacon of a church, but anyways, he was his protege. He tutored him, excuse me. He tutored him from afar via letters. So that is like another type of soul connection, soul family connection. Now the age difference, the gaps between the ages of these people, you have one that is very old and then one that is very young, or may even be not only just young but naive, and they need some type of leadership, some guidance, whether it be on a spiritual level and or a physical level. So this also plays into the dynamic of like when soul family comes together, is usually one or more people that have more spiritual overstanding and experience, so they can help to, I want to say lead and guide, but not necessarily lead and guide, because the whole point is not to just be their leader, like for one twin flame or one soul family member to be the leader, but for them to help usher them into spiritual maturity. So eventually they can go off on their own, even if they have to physically separate, or even if they are physically still together, that they still have a sense of spiritual independence, and they're not codependent on that spiritual leader, if you will. And that's another thing that, branching off into another sort of kind of topic, with the church sort of kind of is hindering people from really breaking free and finding their own soul path, because there's a lot of containment in religion. I'm going to leave it like that. I'm just going to recap a little bit with the soul family. Okay, it refers to a group of souls that share deep spiritual connections and often come together to support and help each other in various lifetimes. Now, if you don't believe in reincarnation, like various lifetimes, it could be throughout one lifetime in different stages of your life. They can be friends, mentors, and even family, lovers, strangers. Soulmates typically refer to a romantic or intimate connection between two or more individuals that transcends typical relationships. Soulmates are often seen as two halves of the same soul. Now, with that, two halves of the same soul, so we went over what a soul is. So, I mean, that can be explained like two people that share one psyche, because we went over what a soul is. It's a psyche. Could this be, leaving this stuff up to you? Oh, I got a comment right here. All right, Jonathan was the son of King Saul. Okay, yeah. Thanks for the refresher. Thank you, Mike James. Yeah. Okay. Let me see. I think it may be the same idea of David and Jonathan. Okay. Seems so individuals meant to be together to fulfill life lessons, like I've already went over before. So that's all right now for the notes that I have for the members. So once again, you guys, if you are members, by midnight tonight, I will have that PDF ready for you guys. I will let you know via Discord or either inbox you, depending on what platform you're on. If you're on Instagram or on TikTok, get an inbox. If you're on YouTube and you're a member, I would just post in the community tab that the PDF is ready, or either just look out for the notification on Discord. The Bible's Hidden in Divination and Magic, the book, and also the journal. So the journal won't have this on here. This is just the author's copy. But both of them are on here. You can also find them on Amazon too, if need be. Then I have my I Am That I Am Divine Guidance cards. And you guys send positive energy. I want to get this one. This is my very first Oracle deck, the Ascended Bible Divine Guidance cards. I want to get them reprinted. Getting all the funds together now for it. But y'all send it positive energy and get that money up, But anyways, like I use the word Oracle because Oracle cards or Oracle deck so that people can understand what I'm saying, what I mean. But I call them divine guidance cards because they are guided from the divine. The divine source is connecting with the divinity in you to bring whatever messages that you need. All right. So y'all can find these on my Etsy, on Facebook, on also on here too. And if you already have it, leave a review. So many people have it, but they haven't left a review. It helps, believe me. It does definitely help. And if you subscribe now, just send me like a little inbox so that way I will know to include you. And then you have to send a request when you join the Discord so I can, know that you are part of the Discord and I can send you whatever links. The link should be like listed in chronological order. Okay, yeah. In the book that he mentioned, I listed it. Oh, actually, he has listed right there. Okay. All right. Well, I am about to hop off, and I will eventually repost the videos. I have a video that I've been editing. Let me tell you, I'm so behind on my editing. All right. On Juneteenth, I went live, and we discussed about ancestors. Okay. And I have ancestors and holidays, like ancestor veneration and how they use like ancestor veneration throughout, the culture. And I have that video. I'm almost finished editing, just a little bit more, and I'm going to post that. It's such a good video. And I have, let me see, 2 other videos that I have coming. I've been working my way through them. But the ones that are up now, you can check out on my YouTube channel. I have Queen Esther, was she a goddess? Glamour Magic. Hadassah, that's one video. Thank you. And that, let me tell you, that is a juicy video. And I categorize a video being juicy is if I was a person that ran across the video, I didn't make it, and I found it to be juicy. That's how juicy it is. Not just because I made it. I would have clicked on that video and put it on my playlist myself. Oh, you have a blessed night too. One live good, one live good. I don't know if you live or live. Let me see what else I got over there. I also have, like I said, Ruth and Boaz, Glamour Magic, Smex Magic. And then on the members, I have so many other videos that I go into, like the esoteric meaning of whether it be a holiday or like other little side notes that I don't really want to put out in the public because either may be a little too esoteric. They may not get it. or it's just like extra notes that I've already recorded the video and posted it, and it's just little extra tidbits. So I'll post on there at least once a week, if not a couple times a week. Oh, thank you. Oh, you have a great night too, Mike. Thank you. I am about to hop off though, and I thank you guys so much for tuning in. Yeah, I think that's all. All right. Many blessings. Peace.